Hey guys, how's it going? It's just me driving and in the car. I'm going to cover a new topic today. So I've been talking a lot about finances, but I think it's time for a new shift of direction. And it's something else that I've always had a passion for, always will have a passion for, and I'd like to share it with you guys, and that is cars. So right now, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my car, and I want to tell you a little bit about how I got into cars also. So currently I'm driving a 2003 Honda Pilot. It's something that was sold to me by my grandma about a year and a half ago. She gave me a really good deal on it. It had about 165,000 miles. It was good for me at the time because I was still finishing up with college and I was about to get married, so it was a nice little cash car that I could have that would get me from point A to point B. Gas mileage isn't great because it's an SUV. You get a little less than 20, but it does what I need it to do. So far, all I've had to do is change out the brakes. I've had to change out my tires and really just my general oil changes and general maintenance. A couple things here or there, but really hasn't cost me a lot of money to drive in the past year. I'd say maybe probably in the whole year and a half that I've owned it, it's cost me about $1,000 in maintenance. Of course, you've got to insure it and I had to pay for the car itself, so I had a little more out of pocket for that as well. But honestly, to maintain this car, it's not cost me much money at all for the amount of time and effort that I've really had to put into just getting it to how it is. So that's what I'm driving now. Right now, I don't know if you can tell, but it is raining outside. I'll show you kind of what I'm looking at right now. I've got Rain-X on my windshield. I just put it on. Just not going fast enough for the wind to really do much to it yet. So I'm gonna pull into this parking lot here, maybe just tell you a little bit about my thing for cars. So cars has always been a part of my life. There's a man that worked with my dad who was, relatively well off at his age, and at the time did not have any kids, didn't have a wife or anything like that. And with the money he made, he could afford to do a few nice things for himself. And one of the things that he ended up doing was he bought himself a Dodge Viper. Now this is back in the 1990s, okay? So we're looking back maybe 1997 is when he bought it. He bought it brand new. The dealership never had sold it. It had just been sitting in their showroom for a couple of years. And so at this point, he had bought it and had done well with it, honestly. So somebody's pulling in with a nice Camaro over there. So that's where it all started, right? At that point, I was 2-3 years old. Couldn't have cared a thing in the world about it. So, he had this Viper, right? And when I was 15 years old, actually when I was 14 and a half, I actually got to drive it for the first time. I learned how to drive a stick shift, and I just drove it down his street. Didn't do anything illegal, just on his own little private road. I just took it right down his street. There's no traffic, none of that, so I wasn't breaking any laws here, okay? Well, that was one of the things that really got me started into the whole car thing. And then I started noticing as I got these racing games, I started to pick up on what was what. I learned the name Porsche pretty quickly, and learned how cool of a car they are, and I saw about Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and I learned all sorts of things about cars that I hadn't ever learned before. And so having the access to this Viper and knowing all these things and playing these games really gave me this love for cars. And so that's where it all started, and that's where I am today because of it. I'm not a car collector. I only got a Honda Pilot and a Toyota Camry from 2002. So really, I'm just at the start of this thing. Down the road, I do plan on buying something a little nicer, a little more expensive, and we'll get there over time. And it's something that we save money for, and eventually we'll get to that point. So thank you for watching, and we'll get into it next time.